Hey guys, John and Nathan here with a deck profile.
Good day!
Gentlemen. With Shy Cake, Nathan's gonna be doing his Great Nature deck, so. And I'll let him tell you about this.
I am absolutely in love with this deck. More than witches, I would say. Like, the Zoo clan entirely is my favorite clan. And it is more competitive than what you would think, because I actually beat the CEO deck with this. I beat Seekers. And I beat, who else did I beat? Oh yeah, someone was using my witches and I beat that too, So anyway, our starting Vanguard is Blackboard Parrot. He's a Forerunner, which is really good. And his other effect is that you can put him into Soul, choose one of your rear guards. When it is retired, draw a card. Pretty simple, yet amazing.
Because you're literally gonna drop everything.
Yep. Starting off with our grade 3 lineup, we got 4 copies of Cat Noir. He is our break ride. He is the best break ride ever. He is a cat, and he is here. Break ride, limit break 4. Your Vanguard gets plus 10, and your rear guards get the ability, when they declare an attack, you choose a rear guard. It gets plus 4,000 damage. Sorry, plus 4,000
power.
Yu-Gi-Oh! 4,000 power, and is retired at the end of the turn. And when it is retired, you draw a card. It's really good because you can declare an attack with one of your rear guards and give that rear guard's power to itself, which is really, really good. One thing you do need to know is if they have the ability to, whenever they give something power and that then retire it and draw, if it is retired before, like, because there are cards like Mr. Tiger here who say retire it during the beginning of the end phase, which means it would retire the other rear guard before the effect to draw would go off. So you have to be really careful when you do that. Usually it's not too difficult. So we got 4 copies of that.
You just got to keep a pretty big book of tabs on them.
I use dice. So much dice. Alright, next we got Magic Scientist Tester Fox. 4 copies of him. He is our Great Nature Legion. He has a long effect, so please bear with me here. During your end phase, when one of your rear guards is put into the drop zone, if this unit is Legion, choose a card from your damage zone and turn it face up. Now, that's just part 1 of its first effect. And it's very important to know, some of these cards have effects when they're put into the drop zone to counterblast a card. You can, or, you know, if you're smart, which you should be smart when you play this game.
You can play smart guards.
Yeah, I do. Whenever it's put into the drop zone, use its ability to counterblast and then do whatever it says, and then his effect will pop off, flipping up the damage that you just counterblasted. Essentially, for free.
Yeah, it's a pretty devastating effect, especially how much he goes plus at the end phase.
Yeah, because he has more abilities here. This is the continuation of the first one. Then, if the unit put into the drop zone has the same card name as a unit on your Vanguard, draw a card, choose up to 2 cards from your drop zone, and put them at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now that's including his Legion mate, which we'll get to later on in the video. When him or his Legion mate is put into the drop zone as a rear guard, you flip up a damage, draw a card, and then put 2 cards from the drop zone at the bottom of the deck. So it's pretty crazy. His other skill is when this unit attacks a Vanguard, you choose a rear guard, it gets plus 4,000 power and is retired at the end of the turn. So there's those. We're going to move on to grade 2s. excuse me, grade 2s, we have 4 Binoculus Tiger. Expensive card to get a hold of, but I'm so glad I did. His effect is whenever he attacks a Vanguard, right? Yeah, whenever he attacks a Vanguard, you choose one of your rear guards, give it plus 4,000 power, and it is retired at the beginning of the end phase. So it would be the first thing to be retired at the beginning of the end phase. So it's pretty good. Next, we have only 2 copies of Compass Lion. One of my friends was like, "Is that an 11K grade 2?" I'm like, yes, it is.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, it is.
Yes. The reason he is an 11K is because his auto is forced. You don't have the option to do it. It is forced. So you have to be careful playing this card. It is at the beginning of your end phase, retire one of your rear guards. So you can even retire himself if you need to, but just be very careful whenever you play this card because it could clear your field for you and not even, like, you're not even paying attention.
It can pretty much stun you.
Yeah. Another card we're playing 2 copies of, that was my phone, is Barcode Zebra. I've had people tell me that I should be running 2 camels, which is the Counterblast 2 and draw a card whenever it hits a Vanguard. And I said no. I like Barcode Zebras. Even though I'm running 2 copies, it has happened before. But its skill is whenever this card is called to rear or Vanguard, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a Great Nature, or if it's a Grade 1 or Grade 2 Great Nature, call it to rear guard. Now what has happened before is that I wrote into this card, reveal the top deck, and it was the second copy of Zebra, calling it to rear guard using its ability as well. So it could, get your boosters and everything that you need out on the field. It's good because it doesn't force you to play the card, and also if it's a trigger, it stays in the deck, and if it's a grade 3, it stays in the deck. So it only calls grades 1 and 2s, which is why I like it. And then finally for grade 2s, we have 4 copies of Illusion Scientist Researcher Fox, which is the Legion mate to Tester Fox. This way. Aha. Its effect is really good, but its effect is only valid when you're in Legion. Counterblast 1, during your end phase, when this unit is put into the drop zone from rear guard, if your Vanguard is Legion, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your units on your Vanguard. So that would be either Tester Fox or Researcher Fox. Search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as that unit, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, and shuffle. The only card I search with this effect is himself. It's the only card. Because what you can do is that next turn, call it to rear, give it the power, and retire it, and do it all again. Because whenever he goes to the drop zone, you counterblast, search, put it in your hand, and then his effect will go off, flipping that damage back face up, drawing a card because it was a copy of one of your Vanguards, and then putting cards back from the drop zone into the bottom of the deck, which I put him back into the bottom of the deck, so I always have a search target.
Well, not only that, you get more draw power with the other boosted abilities of your other units.
Yep, imagine that you just broke red, you have a full field, your starting Vanguard went in to the soul,
you got Cat Noir.
You got Cat Noir going.
And you break red.
And you break red, yeah. So you're going to be drawing like...
You're going at least plus 6 at least.
Because I have other cards here that'll... that will counterblast to get more copies of themselves and also give other people draw power, so...
And they all have decent power too, so...
Oh yeah, they do.
It's not really too bad of a restricted deck.
No, it's not. There's no restriction to this deck at all.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no restriction. I mean, all the power, the draw power, the damage flipping.
Yeah, it's nuts. It is very competitive. People don't think it is, but then they face it and they're like, what the crap was that?
Yeah, because you're basically casting everything for free and all the draw powers.
Yeah, and there's another reason why they're like, what the crap was that? And we'll get to that later.
Exactly.
We have 4 copies of the Pencil Squire Hamscale.
He's so cute.
He is adorable. Oh my goodness, I love this card. Whenever he is retired, Counterblast 1, search up for a card with the same name, put it in your hand. Plain and simple. So you have another 5k shield, or you have another 6k booster that you want, or you can give it power and become a 10k booster. So, you know, it thins out your deck, leaving only triggers in there. It gives you more cards in your hand, so you're plussing more at the end of your turn. It is just crazy, crazy, crazy numbers.
You remember how high you've had your Vanguard? Or even a rear guard for that matter?
Well, my Vanguard's not the highest unit that I would put all the power to. The highest I've had a rear guard, I would say close to 40. Maybe. If I would hit the right triggers, maybe.
Yeah, you hit the right cards.
And it doesn't matter to me if my opponent is guarding all the time, because I'm still going to draw. I don't care if I hit them. I'm still drawing. So
yeah, and you've never come close to decking out.
No, not ever, because you can constantly Legion putting 4 cards back. You can use Fox's ability to put stuff back, and then I have other cards that I'll show you that put stuff back. The next card here I would run 4 copies of if I had, but I only have 3 as of right now. I'm getting my hands on one sooner or later. But Coiling Duckbill. He's pretty simple. Whenever he's called to a rearguard circle, you select one of your rear guards. It gains the effect of when it's retired, draw a card. Just like the starting Vanguard. Except it doesn't go into the soul, it just sits there as a booster. And they never get dull, they never get unused, because if I guard with them, I can always put them back into the deck. If I use them and then retire them, they get back and put back in the deck. Always used. Next, we have 2 copies of Washupracoon. His skill is Counterblast 1. Choose 3 grade 1 or greater Great Natures other than himself from your drop zone and return it to the bottom of your deck. When he's retired, you pay that cost and you search for a copy of him from the deck to the hand. Now, running 2 can be kind of risky, because, if I have to ride onto him, then I don't have the search for the other one. Or if he gets put into the damage, then I don't have the search for the other one. But, you know, that's what heals are for.
And you usually do pretty good with them. You've never really run into the snag, at least what I've seen.
No, because I'm only running 2. And even if I run into that snag, not a big deal. Because I have other ways of putting stuff back in.
You have so many outs in the deck, it's not even funny anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, 2 copies because it refills the deck. It doesn't refill triggers, which is okay, because whenever you Legion and use Fox's ability, you can Legion the triggers back in and use his ability to put triggers back in. So John's yawning like a bitch.
Inappropriate conduct.
Oh, whatever.
I'm suing you.
Lies.
Oh, that's all lawyers do. That's why they're called lawyers.
Yeah, lawyers.
Lawyers.
For our final grade 1s, we have 4 perfect guards. Plain and simple. No necessary explanation needed. Now here comes the fun part of the deck.
In addition to his other tricks.
We have 4 heals. Pretty standard. And then we have 4 crits. I mean, 8 crits.
Don't you mean?
I mean 12 crits. 12 crits in the deck. His
It's
skill,
a madhouse.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, usually people aren't expecting 12 crits in Great Natures, which I don't know why they shouldn't, because Great Natures only really need to run crits. They definitely don't need draws, and they definitely don't need stands. So, his skill is Counterblast 1. When he's put into the drop zone from the rear guard, you can get another copy of him from your deck to your hand. I would not do that, because it gets triggers out of your deck. That is just silly. I would run a different one, but he is the only, because they only have 3 crits, so that's the only reason I can do 12 crits. So if you guys like this, make sure you like it, comment and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. We'll be back with some deck profiles for John. He's got a couple that he wants to do. And we will see you next time.
All right, see you later, guys.
Bye.